Good morning, Toaster. Welcome to Vlogmas 2024. I have one more project to finish before I feel like I'm actually mentally ready to do Advent this year. And we're going to finish it up this morning. So I'm going to talk about this first, and then we'll get into the Advent and all the other stuff later on. But I am so close to finishing my Salty Days sweater by Veronica Lindbergh. I did the bind off on the body last night. I did, well, most of yesterday because it was a sewn bind off, so it took a while. I knit the first cuff and bound that off. And now I have like 18 rounds to go and a bind off on this sleeve. So it's probably another 45 minutes to an hour of work. And since I usually start every morning by reading and knitting and, oh my gosh, my coffee, drinking coffee, eating my breakfast, I usually do 30 minutes a day, but I'm going to do a little bit longer this morning because I just need to get this done. Like, I cannot move on to Vlogmas and Advent mode until this happens. And I literally woke up this morning thinking about it. So I am reading right now the third book in the Throne of Glass series. It's called Heir of Fire. And it's so good. I'm like maybe 60%. Let me see. Almost 60% of the way through. It's so, so good. But I also just got notice that I have the next one, which is like a novella, Assassin's Blade, is available for me to get from the library. So I need to finish this up. So a little extra reading is going to be good for me. Good for me this morning too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cozy up here on the couch. Oh, we're at my mother-in-law's in Florida, by the way. I'll explain a lot of things later. Honestly, I'm also too hungry and haven't had coffee yet to start opening Vlogmas or start opening Advent. See, I can't even talk. I'm having this morning a well-balanced breakfast of a veggie burrito that I made, sausage, biscuit balls, and a cinnamon roll to top it all off. I haven't yet finished the sweater yet because I found myself rushing and just wanting to kind of like get it done. And then I was like, I also need to start work for the day. And I was just feeling stress. And I was like, wait a second. That is exactly the opposite of what December and Advent and Vlogmas for me is all about. I want it to be calm and relaxed. I don't want to be rushing. So I stopped and I did some work, which made me feel a little bit better. And now it's lunchtime and I'm going to take a lunch break and I'm going to open up my Advents and I will still get my sweater done today and it will be fine. I think now I have about 8 rows left. So I think I did about 10 rows this morning in like 30-ish minutes. So I usually film a Vlogmas Day 0, and I did do that this year, but I just didn't call it Vlogmas Day 0 because I had to get everything prepared super early to, I was in Tennessee at my parents' house, and then I had to get everything prepared and gathered up to come to Florida a week ago. And so I've had everything ready for a week and I've been itching to get started on everything, and yet I'm still not prepared for today. Anyway, I decided to make that into a video that went out a little bit earlier, closer to when I filmed it. So if you want to see all the extras and all the details of the Advents that I am opening this year, you can watch that video. It's just called like my Advent, like organization, plan, prep, something like that. So that's where I opened up my first 3 Advents. So I have 3 mini skein Advents and 1 self-striping skein Advent that are yarn. And then I also have a tea Advent, and then we've gotten Toaster a treat Advent. We didn't have this when I filmed that other video. Oh my goodness. So Toaster's going to get a treat Advent starting today, which he's going to love. He had one for Halloween and he really liked that too. So those Advents I just put them under the tree, like temporarily. I'm not going to be able to leave them there because we don't live here. But I wanted to put them under the tree at least for today, just for fun. So there's one Advent that I didn't get to open up during that video because I had it sent here to Florida. So we're going to open that up now. And this is the Hot Springs Fiber Co. Advent. So here's the box. And I need to get this opened up. I just picked it up yesterday from the mail room. Okay, hold on. Oh, I almost dropped it. Okay, it's inside another beautiful box. And let's see what she looks like. Oh my gosh. So pretty and fancy. Can you see those numbers? Actually, we might as well just find number 1. Hang on, here she is. Look at the numbers. That is really cool. I like that. That's so pretty. So this Advent is really special. I have not gotten a Hot Springs Fiber Co. Advent before. This might actually be her first year doing one, but she is calling this Love Letters from Mom. It's dedicated to her mom who passed away last summer. And I don't know. I just think this is really cool. I got to meet Tracy at Hot Springs Fiber Co. in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We got to see her shop. So she's got a yarn store and she is a yarn dyer. She's also the one who does the Blanket of Knowledge subscription that I get. And she gifted me this Advent, which is super, super kind. What attracted me so much to the Advent that I was like, I really want to get one, is she not only has the yarn, but she's also written a book that's dedicated to her mom as well. And every day we get a chapter of the book emailed to us, which I think is going to be really special because I also love reading. So I think that's great. So this just says, enjoy opening a special surprise each day. In addition, watch your email each day for a new chapter of the book and a section of the pattern. So there's also a pattern that goes along. Both knit and crochet will be in each email for those of you who may enjoy both. So love letters from Mom. I think we might as well just start with this one and open up day 1. I went ahead and grabbed day 1 from my Polka Dot Creek Elf Advent as well. I'm going to open up these 2 this morning, but I have another one that's mini skeins that is Beauty and the Beast themed, and I think Kent and I are going to watch the Beauty and the Beast film this afternoon while we finish up work, while I'm just like working on my computer, can kind of, half listen and sit on the couch. So let's open up day 1. And actually, I'm realizing as I pulled these out to go put them around the tree, I don't think every day is yarn. I think some days have other things in it, which is very, very cool. Okay, so first Advent opening of 2024. Struggle there. Okay, ooh. All right, first we have a beautiful mini skein, and this yarn is like a special blend. I think it's 30% bamboo and wool, and they're not 20 gram minis. I think they're like 10 or 11 grams or something like that. And Tracy's mom actually helped her to like wind all of the minis. Like before she dyes them, she winds them off into mini skeins. And I think instead of, you can like purchase them already wound as mini skeins, but because she gets a special base, she winds them herself. So it's extra, extra special that all of this is dedicated to her mom, which is so sweet. Also, we have some cookies in here. They look like they have pecans in them. I like that there's 2 cookies in here. So one to share with Kent. Maybe I'll have those after lunch. So since I'm not actually working with any of my Advents this year, I am going to try to keep them organized by day. So I am going to put the number 1, since it came off of the bag, I'm going to put it back inside along with the yarn. And that will also be a clue to me that this one's already been opened. And I'm just going to probably maybe just put them back in the box and try to keep them in order. That will help me later if I decide to use those colors in that order. Okay, Elf. Now, I'm also not working with this one this year. I have plans to work with an Advent that I opened up last year as my daily project, which I hope I can get to today. But I do still kind of have a clue about what I might want to do with this one, just depending on the colors. I need to see the colors first, but I have a feeling that next year I might be using this Advent to make a festive, like Christmas blanket. I think that would be really fun to have something, that I can pull out of the holidays. So the Polka Dot Creek Advent is really interesting because each yarn is from a different dyer and they're all in Canada, which means I'm going to get to experience so many new yarn dyers. Oh my gosh, that's really fun. Okay, so today is from Windswept Fibers and Designs, hand dyed in Newfoundland and Labrador. My gosh, that's cool. And this color is called Sea of Swirly Twirly Gumdrops. Elf is definitely my favorite Christmas movie. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm definitely gonna, I like to watch it like closer to Christmas. That is so fun. I love that color. I might have my other dream this year for Advent is that I will like line up my yarns every day since I'm not using them, but I'm not in one place for a while. Not for another week at least. And then even then we're still taking like another trip, which is like, God, like it's fun and awesome, but I kind of want to like have all my stuff just like be really homey and like stay in one place and show everything. So for now, this, you know what? I think I'm going to need a Sharpie because the sticker for day one is on the tissue paper, which is totally fine. And I can just write on the tag that it's day one. If I want to keep, again, if I want to keep these in order, I don't have to, of course, but it's nice to know which days they were opened up. Okay, what do I want to do next? I think I'm going to go make a plate. So yesterday was Thanksgiving. I think that's the other reason that Vlogmas feels so funny this year is that Thanksgiving just happened. Usually there's at least a week in between Thanksgiving and the 1st of December. And this year there's like 3 days. And for me, because, oh, that's the other thing I need to explain in the beginning here. Oh my gosh, I haven't even introduced myself. What a mess. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Natalie, and I have a strange life right now. We have been traveling full time for the past year. We don't have a home in the sense of like a stationary place to live. Aside from our very generous families and friends that allow us to stay with them, we have been traveling in our camper van and going to all 50 states. So we have one more state to go to that we are going to leave from here in Florida at my mother-in-law's. We're going to go to that final state, and then we are headed back to my parents in Tennessee, in Nashville. So that's a little bit about us. My family consists of our dog Toaster and my husband Kent, just the 3 of us. And why was I going there with that? Oh, I don't even know actually. Oh yeah, I was going to explain why yesterday was Thanksgiving, because if you are looking at a calendar, you'll think, wow, the day after Thanksgiving was not December 1st, it was November 29th, and you would be totally right. But since we are filming every single day from basically up until Christmas, the last several years, we have filmed a couple of days ahead of time to make things just smooth and easy for us. So essentially, we will film, like I'm filming today on a Friday, and then tomorrow Kent will edit that footage. And that just means that I don't have to, cut off my filming at a certain point in the day. So there's time to edit it and get it out the next morning. It just makes it a lot easier on us. So he will edit it the next day and then it will go live the 3rd day. So we're like 2 days ahead of time, 2 days ahead. But everything will be coming out. If I'm opening day 1, it'll be December 1st. If I'm opening day 2, it'll be December 2nd, and so on. Okay, I think that's everything. I'm gonna go make a Thanksgiving plate for lunch, and then we're gonna sit and watch some Beauty and the Beast. And I am going to finish that sweater. I just don't feel like I can get in the spirit of my new projects until I finish the sweater. Kent and Toaster fell asleep on the couch, so no Beauty and the Beast, at least for right now. And I worked while I had my lunch, so I figured I'm going to take a break this afternoon, and I think I'm going to start my Advent project. So the project that I'm going to make is a granny square blanket, but it's so much more than that because it's not plain granny squares, and there are 12 different designs. I downloaded it on my phone. Hold on. It's called the Yorkshire blanket, and it is by Mima Makes. And I'm really excited to start on it. So what I need to figure out, I've wound up, oh, this is another advent to show you. This is an advent from last year. If you look at this bucket, it looks like it's all orange, but it's not. It's Pretty Twisted Yarns 2023 advent, and it was a neon rainbow fade. So there's a lot of oranges in here because they fade, even though it's a little hard to see the differences in this light because now it's getting dark outside, even though it's 3:30. It's because it's been storming as well, but also because it gets dark at like 5 o'clock. But I have a lot of similar colors, but the entire advent is a fade from basically orange to pink. There's one pink that I have here. Actually, it's the same pink that I used for the tie in this, although it does look different now. Maybe I grabbed the wrong one. Or could it have faded? That's interesting, actually. This may have faded, but I was so certain that this was the same yarn because I remember pulling from my Pretty Twisted Yarns advent, winding it up, and then I found this, and this looks like, oh, shoot. This actually may not be it because this is definitely it. Well, I'll have to look when I get back to Tennessee, but I just won't start with this. I really thought, anyway, I wound up the first like 12 days so that I'm ready to go. But what I need to decide is how I'm going to do the different patterns. So the suggested thing is, use each of the 12 granny square patterns and make each of them twice. So I think that is a good way to do it and how I'm planning to do it. But I need to figure out what colors to do. You know what I mean? Like if I do all the same squares for the first 8 days or whatever, and they're all orange, how is that going to look in my blanket? Because I'm going to want to spread them out. So I guess I just don't know yet. I guess for the first day, I don't really have to decide. Does that even make sense, what I'm trying to say? I want to make sure that I can spread out both the color and the different patterns and not have things like next to each other. So maybe I like make in the oranges, like every orange is a different pattern as well, and not make 2 oranges that have the same pattern so that that can be spread out. Maybe that's just the easiest thing. Well, let's find December 2nd here. I've got December 2nd. So nice that it's already wound up and I can just get started. And then I think we will just start with the very first square without showing you too much. This pattern has really, really good like formatting because it's got a bunch of different things in it. And then every single one too, actually, I think I can show you this without showing you all too much. Every single one of them also has a YouTube tutorial that I'm covering up the link to, but it's like below the photo. So that's the one I'm going to be making today. And this blanket is all inspired by the Yorkshire countryside in England. So the Bronte, I think that's how you say it. It's got the little 2 dots over the E. The first square was inspired by the writings of the Bronte sisters and a trip to Bronte country. The square is reminiscent of Gothic architecture and Victorian lace and only uses single crochets, double crochets, and chains. It looks like it is 9 rounds. I think that's going to be doable in a day. And my favorite crochet hook to use with fingering weight yarn and blankets is a D. 3.25 millimeters is my favorite. So I'm just going to go with that and we shall see if I can make 1 square out of 1 mini skein. That is the hope. I think these squares are pretty big. Actually, there was a whole other, again, this pattern is like so great. There's a whole other PDF that was like getting started and like how to get you going. And I think it says how big the squares are. Okay, it says that each of them are about 7 inches across. So let's see what happens. I'm just gonna dive right in. My timer just went off to go back to work. But I'm working on the 4th round and starting to warm up to this style of like pattern writing. Because, I mean, if you knit and crochet, you know that knitting and crochet patterns can be very different from each other. And then everyone's pattern in the same category of craft is very different from one another. So warming up to the style, I just have to say the pattern is really well written, and there are not only video tutorials, but photo tutorials of every single round. So you know, you can check if you're doing everything right. But this is definitely have to pay attention to every single bit, kind of. I mean, once you get one side, it's not so bad kind of figuring out the other side. But look, I've just started the 4th round. This is looking really pretty. It's kind of like drawing in on the sides. Super interesting. So I will save the rest of that for later, and I am going to go back to work.
Merry Christmas!
I am done with work and a little earlier than I planned, which is really nice. But I guess I'm not actually done with work because we have an event tonight at 8 o'clock, which is in 2.5 hours. So I am making some coffee so that I can still be alert when when I'm on the event, which is kind of late for me. I feel like my brain starts to shut down at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So therefore, coffee, even though I normally try not to drink more than 1 cup of coffee a day, I'm making an exception. And also, it's Friday, so it's like almost the weekend, right? And I think I'm gonna have a little treat. There's so many treats here. I might have like a little turtle or something. And then while my coffee is making, I am gonna go do like 10 minutes of yoga, stretching, like really gentle stuff, because I've been on the computer a lot this week. And I've been sitting mostly at the counter here, but also on the couch and doing a lot of hours of computer work every day. And that's just been killing me. Also knitting and crochet, and I want to be able to knit and crochet. So I'm going to go do that while my coffee is making.
Merry Christmas!
It is time for me to start getting ready for the Vlogmas cast-on party tonight, and I was getting some things organized. I finished my first square, and oh my goodness, I had so much fun. Can you see how cool the pattern is? How it kind of makes almost this like flower shape with the yarn overs, and it sounds like each of the squares end in the same number of stitches. Really clever, so that you can join them together. I mean, this whole blanket pattern has so much good info. So I have left what's remaining attached like to the square, and then I tied the little tag for the day on there. One, I want to know what day and color the squares are, because I think that will help me in arranging them. And then 2, I want to know what color the leftovers are. So that's just the best way that I can see to do it, at least right now, until I obviously detach them and sew in the ends at some point. Hopefully not at the very end, but at some point later. I'll probably go ahead and do the middle, like center part in. I have 7.5 grams left over from this particular square, which I think is a good thing. I thought it used up more. Like, this didn't look like 7.5 grams to me, but it did use up quite a bit of yarn, but I still have a lot left over. So I could technically make like a whole other project from this advent if I want to, but I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I wanted to measure my square. I have so much cleaning up to do in here. This is so messy. I wanted to measure the square and kind of just see how big it is. It'll grow a little bit, I think, when I block it. There we go. I thought I had an extra measuring tape in here, and I do. So let's see, just preemptively. This is about like 6.5 to 6 3/4, which is perfect because it says that they're supposed to be around 7 inches. So I like that I'm close. Not that it really mattered, but that's nice because that means I will get a similar size blanket, a little bit smaller, but that is a-okay. So I need to start getting ready for the Vlogmas cast on party, which starts in about 30 minutes. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight. If you missed the cast on party, don't worry. You can still join us for Vlogmas. So Vlogmas is a sock make along where we started today, November 29th. The goal is to knit or crochet yourself a pair of socks that are festive. So they could be for a holiday that you're celebrating in December. They could just be wintry. They could just be a fun color. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you want. And we're trying to make them and finish them by December 20th, because if you finish by December 20th and you celebrate Christmas, then you have them in time for Christmas. I also realized that Hanukkah starts on December 25th this year. So if you want to make Hanukkah socks, whatever you're making, you know, like you'll be able to wear them in December. That's the whole point. I did design a pattern for Vlogmas, but I don't even know where my socks are right now, so I won't show you that right now. Hold on. But anyway, we're doing a cast on party with the ladies of Coven Collective, who dyed and created the kit that went with the socks that I designed. So that's going to be really fun tonight. So that's the cast on party, but we are doing a couple of other things. Not as big as the cast on party, but I am having Instagram lives every Friday. So next Friday is the 6th. So December 6th, December 13th, and December 20th. Instagram lives probably around like noon Eastern time. It just kind of depends on what my schedule is that day. But Instagram lives, we can check in and stuff. And then you're welcome to come and join our free Discord. Discord's just a place that you can chat and share photos and ask questions about socks, and just, it's a community space and it's all free. But that's what Vlogmas is. So for me this year, I am going to be doing my Freckled Whimsy socks. My self-striping yarn is in here. Kent actually wound these up for me so that I didn't see them. But what I want him to do, I started on the cuffs a couple of days ago. So the cuffs are in here, but the self-striping yarn's in here. So I want you, hi Kent, I want you to put these yarns into this bag so that I don't see them. But will you take the cuffs out for me?
Explain that again.
Okay, so in this bag, this is the bag I want to use, but you need to take out what's already in there. I can see because I already did it. So here are my cuffs. You can take both of those out. Okay. And then I want you to put those into there for me. And if you can you like take the center string and like pull it up out of the bag?
Yeah, for both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they different? That's what I did not ask you to make sure they were wound the same. Let me see. How did you do? Okay. Thank you very much. All right, I'm off to do Vlogmas. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Toaster. We did it. The cast on party is over. It was really fun for me. I hope it was fun for everyone else. I started on my socks like seconds before we got going, and I actually ended up getting into the second stripe on the first sock. So I think I'm going to switch over to my other sock. I haven't really figured out yet how many stripes I'm going to do each day. I think some days I can do 1 stripe, some days I can do 2 stripes. It might just be kind of however I'm feeling, because I do know from looking at my other self-striping socks that if I only do 24 stripes total, I'm not going to have an actual pair of socks. I think I need like 20 stripes in my leg because I want it to be nice and long. So I need to figure that out later, but not today. Now it is already 9 o'clock and we are going to have some dinner. Kent has been cooking, so I'm going to go see what he's up to, get some dinner, and then it might be time to be more quiet and still for the night.